off with a smile today. Starting off with a smile. Oh my gosh, welcome to the Craig Bouchon Show. I mean, it's already been one of those days today. Welcome. It's Thursday, and heck, it's summertime, and it's hot outside. There's no doubt about that. But today, we're going to jump right into it, and we're going to discuss some things, folks, that are very, very important. If you've missed any of the past shows in the past few days, you've got to go back and watch them. They have been we've been really hitting on some subjects that that you need to know about. It's just a fact. And before we get going today, I want to welcome Eric Thompson, the producer extraordinaire, to the show. How are you, sir?
Good morning. It is definitely hot out here in Oklahoma. Triple figures.
It's going to be hot all over the place today, and because it's summertime, and you know there's a lot of heat other places as well. There's heat in the political system. There's heat in your personal life as well. There's a lot going on, and we got to cool things down. The way we do that, have a cool head, is to understand what is happening to us, why it's happening to us, who's doing it to us. Why are they doing it to us? What's the advantage of them doing things to us as citizens? That how much are they being paid? I always say, folks, it's about the bribe. It's always about the bribe. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to go all the way back to Genesis. I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning of mankind. For those Christians out there, the 65 to 70% of Americans who are Christians, you understand the story of Genesis. And the beginning was what? You had Adam, and then you had Eve, and then you had the devil right there. And God said, what he said in Genesis, and he spoke the world into existence. And here's Adam, and he's alone, and God makes Eve from a rib, and you all know that story, right? But where did it go wrong? What happened? Well, it was about the bribe. It was about that tree, right? It was about what you can and cannot do according to God, what God said you cannot do. Adam and Eve don't do that. Well, what was the devil's message? Well, the message was the bribe. You don't listen to him. Listen to me. You can be like him if you just do that. The story of the apple, right? It's about the bribe. The exchange is you're going to defy your father. You're going to defy God. But in return, I'm going to give you something now that you can have. That instant gratification, that the bribe of, look at the power that you can have. Eric, you remember the story, right?
Oh, yeah. It's did God really say, Eve, that if you eat of this fruit, you'll be like him? You know, that, or did he say you shouldn't touch it or you shouldn't eat it? And she said, well,
either way, no matter what he said, they defied him.
Well, she added to it, actually. He said, you shall not eat of this tree. And she goes, yeah, and I can't touch it either. Well, God didn't say you couldn't touch the fruit. You just couldn't eat it. And so then Satan said, well, no, the real reason God wants to withhold this from you is because he knows you'll be like him if you eat it. That's the real reason God is deceiving you.
Yes, He's great lie. It's deception. And it was the bribe, right? The whole thing is, why would she care about what he's saying? And why would Adam care? Because they were going to get payment.
Yep.
They were going to get something that oh, wow, yeah, wouldn't that be great? Well, no. And I'm not going to keep going on through Genesis, but we will be talking about Scripture, and Eric is a great theologian about that, and we'll be talking about it. But that's the same thing we're dealing with today, folks. The bribe. It's all about the bribe. It's all, whether you're talking about the Biden family, it's about the bribe. Whether you go all the way through all the politics, and you look at what's going on in the world, and you look at Ukraine, you look at where the human element is at today, a snapshot. It's not unlike the same fight in the beginning of time. It's about bribery. It's about money. It's about power. This morning, I was brought to tears because there's a movie. And again, every day I'll apologize because I do go off script. Sorry, Eric. But the fact is that tears came to my eyes today because there is a movie that we're going to talk about. Not right now, but I want you to get it on your radar. Okay. and it's called Sounds of Freedom. And that is something that you need to check out because it's about human trafficking, and we are the number one nation in the world for human trafficking, and it's going on right now at our border. And these kids that are coming across, those aren't their parents. Many of them, it's not their parents. You can't prove it's not their parents because they don't have any ID, and they're actually bringing here to be trafficked, and that is disgusting. In the movie, I can't wait to see it. You got to check it out. And Sounds of Freedom. So more about that later. But today's a big day, Eric, and I know you've got a lot we got to get to. So why don't you tell the folks? And you just started off, and I know there's questions that he likes to ask me, and I don't know the super majority of the time. I have no idea what he's going to ask me. Okay,
sorry about that. I was getting your Sound of Freedom ready for later, but no. What I thought we would go over the main story. Believe it or not, yesterday was Biden, Joe. And I'm gonna show a picture here. It's just from Breitbart, but everybody covered this story. I don't know how long do you think Joe was? But how long was Joe napping before he went out and spoke to reporters? Because when it finally pulls up here, you're going to see that he had straps on his face, like a what do you call that, nebulizer,
like
or whatever?
CPAP, those CPAP machines.
Yeah. So he's talking to the reporters as he has straps still indented in his face.
Right.
So I just how long, you can see him right here. So on the Breitbart. So how long, the article says the oldest president in American history is placed on a respiratory device. So my question is, and I was thinking about it, do you think Joe is an actor at this point, or has always been an actor, or is he actually still trying to speak through a declining mind?
Well, first of all, just about every politician there is an actor. There's no doubt about that. All the world's a stage, and we are all just mere actors. And for sure, some of the best actors in the world are politicians. Have you ever noticed when you see these politicians that are guest hosting for talk shows? Many of them are like really good. It's like,
Yep.
Boom, they just they just do it. They can read a teleprompter. They can do all the things perfectly. And it's because they're all cut from the same cloth. Radio talk show hosts and television hosts are designed, were trained, and some have more talent than others to look at the camera and have a conversation with you and have it feel and look normal. And that's the key. The key is that they feel comfortable. Well, they do that and they look that way because they are professional and they're actors. Sometimes I have to do this show and it may be a bad day, but I'm not going to sit up here. Maybe it's something going on in my personal life that's not good. I'm not going to sit there and bring you down about it. I've got to get myself up and I got to have a conversation with you. And then you have to judge by what I say, whether I'm telling you the truth or not the truth. Is it valid? Do you care? Does it give you actually information that you need? Is it a waste of time? Well, these politicians like Joe Biden, people are talking about the straps. Do I care that he has straps on his face? Well, I guess I could say, wow, what did he do? Wake up 20 minutes ago? Not even enough time. He was sleeping just a few minutes ago, and now he is in front of the cameras. Does he have a medical condition that he has to get oxygen to get him propped up to be able to get out there to clear his head? Because oxygen, high quality oxygen can help clear your head. Or is it that he uses a CPAP machine and the indentations are there because it's his dehydration? He's dehydrated, so the little indentations aren't going away fast. No matter what it is, there's people watching this show right now that you had a CPAP on last night. I get it. And it doesn't concern me that somebody wears a mask, a CPAP. What concerns me is it couldn't have been that long before he was on stage that he had it on. And we don't know why he had it on. So what the question I would ask is, if I was there at the gaggle at the press corps, I would say, what are those straps? What are you wearing, and why are you wearing it? Now, somebody may have asked that. I don't know what the answer is. I haven't seen the answer. Is there an answer at all, Eric? Is anyone saying why those were there? Or is everyone just speculating?
No, they're just saying that they're trying to downplay it, that he's actually been using a CPAP since 2008. In 2019, he had surgeries on his nose and septic area. So They basically just said that, yeah, he's been using it to try to improve his sleep quality. But I guess another question I have before we move off from this is, why would Jill let him go out in front of reporters with strap marks on his face?
Well, part of it is, these politicians play a character, and let me give you a case in point. I wish we had the video. Maybe you can find it. But when Obama would speak in the South, he would, or Hillary Clinton, down there with you folks and speaking in a Southern drawl, channeling the room I'm with, and you're not that smart, so you won't realize that I'm faking my accent. Well, what are they doing? They're acting, but they're so arrogant, so pompous. They believe you're so stupid that you don't see them changing their accent for you. I mean, they're actors. Well, most of them are fraudulent. Most of them, too many of them, I don't know the exact number, but it's too many of them, have sold you out. They are merely acting. And when Biden gets up, his handlers, they're propping him up. And again, I'm on record, folks. I don't think he's as stupid and whacked off as and having problems as they're letting on. I think he's a calculating, mischievous actor, and he knows what he's doing most of the time. I'm not saying he's in his 80s that there can't be those senior moments, and there probably is, and he may need a CPAP, and I don't care if he does. Millions and millions and millions of people have it. It's probably overprescribed as well. It's a big money-making machine, and there's a lot of side effects from using those things that are not good as well, but that's a whole other conversation. But in the end, I just want to know, what kind of mask is he wearing? You have the right to know. That's the question I would ask. But don't let it take you too far down that rabbit hole, folks, because the real issue that we have is the sex trafficking of children, the border issue, the cost of fuel, the electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, folks, are part of World War III. Fact. And I'm not anti modern technology moving forward. I'm not. I believe that we need to do things in the right way. So there's a lot more things going on. Your healthcare, people are being euthanized all over the world because they're handicapped or they have Down syndrome. There's things going on, folks. The devil, while he's making you think about straps on a face, indentations, yep, he's doing stuff that is so horrific that it is disgusting. It is so bad. And we're just, hey, what's that bright? Hey, yeah, look at that bright, shiny. And then over here, it's all deception, folks. Don't be deceived. Focus on the target. Focus on what really matters. Okay, and that's what we do on the show. But that's why I like Eric Aspie, because I'm going to tell you what I think. I think I don't care about that nearly as much as these other issues. So go ahead. Let's we'll
yeah, this, I think, because of Joe's, I think he's not. I think things slip out, or he says things he shouldn't. But he said in Chicago during a speaking event yesterday that he met with China's to-be president at the time, Xi Jinping. That, yeah, I met with him alone 68 times. This is when he was vice president, making his millions. And he's flying. He said one time he flew 17,000 miles to meet with him. Wow. Why are you meeting with the guy that's not the head of state 68 times while you're setting up business deals for Hunter? To me, this is just more of the foundation of. Can you think of a different reason why he's met?
VPs don't typically meet with the heads of state.
Okay.
VPs don't typically have that type of relationship where they're going to go meet with the president of a nation. It's usually president to president and vice president to whatever subordinate there is there. But the greater point is there. Obviously, Joe Biden and the Biden family, this crime circuit that we're all finding out, folks, there's no question anymore. All of this other stuff is like the icing on the cake, right? We're just kind of pushing around the icing. There's so much icing, and I love icing. If you make me a carrot cake and you put a bunch of I want more icing than carrot cake, it seems like. But I just pushing around that icing. That's all that's happening here. You don't need any more. You don't need any more. It's It's over as far as that goes. Now, what are we going to do about it? That's the key. What are our leaders going to do to protect the republic? So right now, they're not doing nearly enough, and that's the frustration. So when you see articles like that, Eric, that you showed, yeah, of course. Of course, there's probably some stuff that he did that was for the Republic, but a lot of it has to do with him setting up his schemes. That's just my opinion. That's lots of people's opinion. I think it's being proven right now. It just is.
Well, to continue this, China, before we go to break, so now China is hosting the Great Reset's World Economic Forum event, and well, so you got Biden meeting with Xi 68 times, and we know everything. So now we're up to the point where the heads of Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all of the mortgage companies are in China right now getting courted by Xi.
Yes.
I think that's a big problem. We're talking about what was the foundation set up by the Bidens, and what now are we dealing with as a nation, and what are there's even our politicians from our Congress over in China.
That's right. While that's going on in the World Economic Forum and the World Bank and ESG, environmental social governance, BlackRock, Deep State, while that's going on, it's interesting what Trump said the other day. And when we go to break, see if you can find this, where Trump is in Michigan, obviously talking to people who care about the automobile industry and saying, wait a minute, are you guys nuts? It's like he's parroting my show. Because my thoughts is that we're nuts. We thinking that we're going to push all electric at a rate that we're doing it is a death sentence for our economy and for jobs. And he talks about that. That's a big deal. I think it's a winning conversation. If he can explain why electric vehicle adoption is actually a weapon against the republic, and it's a long thought out position of the CCP and Russia, and really what's turning it into the BRICS nations, right? Which is the future possible world war is going to be the BRICS nations versus the West. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of moving parts, and it's easy to get confused. It's easy to say, I give up. I can't figure it out. I don't know. Well, again, that's why we have this show. We got to try to break it down, and it got to. What's the saying? And I think it's an awful saying, by the way. How do you eat an elephant? Who wants to eat an elephant? It's my favorite animal, by the way. But the fact is that it's one bite at a time, right? You can only ingest so much. And it's our job to break things into snippets, into pieces. And we're going to start doing that, by the way. You're going to be able to go onto the website, Craig Bouchon Show, going on to Spreely. And we're going to take these segments and we're going to reduce them down so you can ingest them as you have time, okay? Because these shows are an hour long. And it's hard for it to be an entire hour watching something. But if we can give it to you in small bites on each point that we're making, I think that'll help. So see if you can find that, Eric, when we go to break. And when we come back, folks, we're just going to stay with it. We're going to raise our IQ, okay? We're going to get smarter every single day. And the enemy hates that. Trust me. The enemy does not want you to be able to read the cards, does not want you to keep your ear to the ground, does not want you to pull away from the computers and the laptops and the tablets and the phone and go, whoa, what's going on? No, they want your head down, swiping left, swiping right. What level I am on my bubble game? Folks, we're waking up and we're coming. We'll see you in a moment.
Wow, it's so soft and smooth.
It's cool to the touch. How did you do that?
Well, we took MyPillow's patented fill and combined it with this new technology that we didn't have back then when I invented MyPillow to bring you the best pillow in history, MyPillow 2.0. Because of all of you, MyPillow 2.0 has been a huge success, and now we're bringing you our best-selling Go Anywhere MyPillows with the same temperature-regulating technology. Made with my patented adjustable fill and brand new cooling fabric, they're truly the next generation of MyPillow. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save over 60% on our MyPillow 2.0 4-pack special. You'll get 2 MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, regular $259.92, now only $99.98. King size just $10 more. This is a limited time offer, so please order now.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome to Craig Bouchon Show. Thursday afternoon. A lot going on. Eric, were you able to find that article I was talking about when it comes to Trump and Michigan?
Yeah, well, I'll pull it up here.
Let's pull that up. There's a point I want to make to you folks. I want to raise the IQ of what's happening and why they're doing it, and then how are they funding it, and why are they doing it, and why when all the things that we can see don't make sense, but yet they're going through with it anyway. Let's talk about that. So here we go. What does it say? A catastrophe for Michigan. Trump attacks electric cars in the newest Rust Belt gambit. So what does that mean? Well, it means that Ford is laying off, what is it, a little over 1,000 people? What does it say here? A little over 1,000 people are being let go. And the specific reason is because they need to pay for the billions of dollars they're losing trying to get electric vehicles on the market, trying to figure out a way. Do you know that Ford is losing through the first quarter of this? Here it is right here. $60,000 per vehicle. And then go ahead and pull that back up. That's about the jobs. Thank you, Eric. Okay. For those of you who are watching, you can see it. If you're listening, please go on and pull up the show when you can, because we're going to show these graphs. Ford lay off at least 1,000 workers. EV startup Lordstown Motors dies. So you remember when Trump was, touting, hey, this new, I think Lordstown, Ohio, we have this new electric vehicle, new truck coming out. Well, guess what? Boondoggle, ain't gonna work. Sorry. Oops. Yeah. And again, so we can remind the folks, please pull up in a minute here. I want to explain what boondoggle is, because boondoggle is like my favorite word right now. So let me
ask you a question here then. So
go ahead.
In a normal business environment, why if the Green New Deal, if going green is supposed to be what everybody wants, why is Ford why do they have to lay people off if everybody wants these cars?
Well, it's a pure supply and demand issue, right?
Yep.
In 1 minute, they say, well, when they first talked about the F-150 and their electric vehicles coming out, they're going to be $40,000 vehicles. Great news. Nope, now it's 60,000. Nope, it's 70,000. Nope, 80,000. Oh, can't deliver them at all right now. Big problems with batteries. 85,000, 89,000. It's like we're at an auctioneer. Where's the auctioneer at? Because these prices keep going up and up and up and up. Why? Because you can only bleed so much money. And here it is right here. Ford is losing almost $60,000 for every EV sell. That's through the first quarter of this year. Can't wait to see the numbers that are going to be coming out from the second quarter. Now we're in the third quarter. It is a tremendous amount of money, and it's billions of dollars. And you would think, well, to your point, Eric, why would they do it? It's because there is a new world order happening. It goes back to our conversation about World War III. Why are all these leaders, these business owners in China? Because they believe that China is the future. They believe that China is going to, no pun intended here, trump the United States. They believe, look, we were already sold out by these manufacturers a long time ago. I hate to tell it to you, but General Motors, which is a United States company that was built up by the U.S. Went back in the TARP days when the falling of the economy and all that corruption, and Obama didn't allow. Never forget this, folks. Never forget this. One of the biggest failures of your leaders, your president of the United States at the time, Obama, he did not allow when General Motors was going defunct, he said, bondholders, sorry, you're not getting your money. Oops. Bondholders are supposed to be number one in position. Nope, you're out. Gotta save GM. Too big to fail. Well, no. Guess what happens? When the government comes in, what did Ronald Reagan say? One of the scariest things, and I hope I say it correctly, but one of the scariest things that you'll hear is a knock on your door, and a person at the door says, hey, I'm from the federal government, and I'm here to help. Well, guess what? General Motors is over the barrel when it comes to their relationship with the federal government. And I'm not talking about going all the way back to the Rosie the Riveter days where they had to build tanks, planes, and weaponry and all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about right now, that when the government has to come in and bail you out, then they own you. The strings attached are like tattoos, really. They're tattooing themselves on you. You just can't rub that off, folks. So losing $60,000 per vehicle. How are they paying for it? Well, part of it is their robust sales in the markup of their ICE vehicles. The internal combustion engine vehicle, which is by far the most prevalent in the U.S. and really the most prevalent for sure across the world. And EV is trying to replace that, what we call ICE, internal combustion engines. If you look at the price of these vehicles now, they're very, very expensive. And guess why they're doing that? And they're holding you hostage. You can't go try to go to a dealership right now and buy a car. Try to buy an F-150. Well, there's not that many out there, and some dealers have none. And if you do find some, there's a few. And then here's what interesting thing that happened that also lets you know that the game has changed. They want you to have to order your vehicle. They don't want vehicles laying all over the lot. And they can charge you more. It's a supply and demand issue. And if they choke off that supply, F-150s were starting to stack up just a little bit a few months ago. And the factory said, well, we're just going to turn down how many that we produce. So the days of you going to a dealership, to a lot, seeing those hanging discounts of $10, $12, $14, $16,000 on a pickup truck, those days are gone. They're trying to eliminate that. And there's a lot of reasons why. But one of the big reasons is they need profit. They need more money to pay for these boondoggles, okay? And, electrification is a lot more than just getting a car to charge faster and to go more miles. There's more to it than that. There's an infrastructural issue for sure. There is a petrodollar issue. There is the United States of America. We are not set up for this yet, and that's why China's pushing it. China's pushing hard and heavy for electric vehicles. We covered this yesterday, and also the coal-fired plants. And by the thousands, 1,200 plants up there and growing in China, and we have a few hundred, barely, and they're old, inefficient.
It's scheduled to close. That's their plan.
Of course it is. So how do you win in this? Well, the only way you can win in this, in the republic, is you have to show up. You have to push on your politicians. I mean, look, the bottom line is that they are way ahead of us. You're going to be frustrated because as you go around and you look at things, heck, washers and dryers. There was an article I was reading where the Biden administration is going to make sure that your washer and dryer is more expensive, but also has less features. So you're going to pay more and get less. And you think, why are they attacking my appliances, my everyday stuff, right? You can't have a gas stove. Sorry. Well, that's how far over their skis they are. That's how arrogant they are. That's how powerful they think they are. Remember we talked about this yesterday? Remember we talked about this? This is where they want to be, the power at the top. We're at the bottom. Our founders gave us this. We're at the top. They're at the bottom. No, they don't like that. They don't want that. They're going to do everything they can, and them and their cronies, the people within the government who are corrupt as all get out, and the companies and organizations like BlackRock and Vanguard and the CCP and the World Economic Forum, and that go on and on and on and on. I mean, I feel I want to have a board, going back to the Glenn Beck days, a board and just throwing the magnets on and showing you everything. There's so much happening that it's hard to get your mind wrapped around. So what can you do about it? What you do about it is you get engaged. You show up. You watch this show. You share it with your friends. You do your own research. You call your state representative. You let your people know in your area that you don't want this to happen. You don't even want it. The average person doesn't want an electric car. You're being forced into it. And what it's going to do is affect everything else in your life. Costs are going to go way, way up. So, I'm glad you pulled that up. American, keep that up there. This right here, American. That's where that's what this is about. It's about us getting together under a name that is going to be very hard to cancel, folks. It's very hard to cancel that. That's what we are. We're American, and we're Americans. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care if you were born here, and I don't care if you're naturalized here. All you people that came through legally and raised your right hand to become citizens, you took an oath. The average American has not had to take an oath unless you served in an office that made you do it, or you're a member of the military. Most people do not have to take an oath. So we have an oath on American that we're going to take, that we all take. I took it. It's right here. It's right there. And it's a reminder. That's a candidate oath back there. It's a reminder that together we can unite and we can push back on these politicians. And then when they sign it, they're going to get an American pin. And when you see that pin on them, you will know that they signed the oath. And if someone's running for office, one of the first things you ask them is, did you take the oath? Did you take the American oath? Are you pro-America, pro-Constitution? Are you pro-me? I want to know. Otherwise, I'm not voting for you. If you don't take the oath, I'm not voting for you. And then know when you do take the oath, when you swear that you're going to uphold the things that we're talking about, like sovereignty, for example, then it's going to make you more powerful, folks. It's about bringing people together. So, because look, the reality is that position of power, that pop, you have to have it. And right now they think that they have it. That's why they can be arrogant, Eric. When you're showing this stuff out there, the average person is at work. The average person has multiple computer screens on their desk. The average person is dropping their kids off at daycare with people that don't to be raised by people that don't love them. The kids are a business opportunity. When the kids are not being raised by people who love them and only from profiteers. And before I get pushback from people who are in the daycare, I know people in the daycare business, and there's some very good people, but there's not enough of them. And I don't care how good you are, you're not their parent. Parents need to have more time with their children, and the system's set up that you can't. So what do we got? What else we got, Eric?
Well, I think what you're saying is the reason why Trump, by doing this, speaking out against the Great Reset, the electric car movement, it's just one of it's part of the MAGA movement, American movement, that if you say, hold on a second, it's illogical to lose that kind of money per car. And it's actually terrible for you as a citizen, so it shouldn't happen. And this is just one of the main reasons why Trump is being attacked. There's another article out that, all the little nitpicking that Smith is trying to do in Florida to take him out is down to Trump didn't recycle enough newspapers last week. I mean, they are that down in the weeds trying to find something on him.
Well, isn't there a new thing out right now where his top aide, is having to testify? And tell that story real quick. I'm gonna give you my opinion on that. But
Yeah,
tell
so-
the folks what we're talking about.
Well, I took it down, but the article is and it's featured on Drudge, is that Trump's one of his main advisors for his 2024 campaign. Trump was showing her, okay, these are some of the successes and failures of the Biden administration as we're putting together our campaign. Now, here is a one of the nations that are really struggling, but you can't see it because it's classified. Well, they're saying because he even showed her from a distance, that's a reason why he should go to jail for life.
It's a, let's just give an example here. Let me see if I can.
He said, don't get too close because I haven't declassified it. Because she was in the room, then he should go to jail for life.
You know, if I have a top secret document here, there's no video of this that I know of. So let's just say this is it. And yeah, don't get too close to this. You can't get, this is top secret, but let me tell you that this will prove that what they were saying is a lie. What it's going to prove, okay, this is top secret. Don't get too close because you're not able to see this, but know that I have that documentation because I was president. I didn't declassify it, but I can read it because I was president. So, but don't get too close. Okay, but I'm going to tell you that it's going to prove that what they're saying is lying. They're lying about, wanting to go to war with Iran, things like that. Well, did I show it to him? No. What we don't have is video, folks. We don't know. We've got a bunch of people trying to steer you to hate Trump, and what we got to know is the facts. But because the mainstream media is in such lockstep, still the swamp, the deep state, that they're going to drip, drip, drip part of the death of 1,000 cuts. And really, what are they talking about? Well, you don't know. I don't know. If the president held this, is he showing it to him? No, he's telling him, hey, don't get too close. Okay? Did they show you the document? Yes, technically. Am I showing you the document? Yep, I'm technically showing you the document, but am I really showing you the document? Like really seeing it? No, I'm not. So we're going to see. I suspect it's going to be something like that. I could be wrong. I mean, look, nobody really knows exactly if there's no video. It's going to be, and in this case, he said, she said, and it'll be interesting. Maybe she's just going, hey, yeah, he showed me the document. Did you see it? No. Well, how did he show it to you? Well, he showed it to me. He had it in his hand. Could you see what was on it? No. If she goes, yes, and you know what it said? That's a different story. If they get into court, and that's when the cameras will go dark, I suspect, because they're going to want to glamorize this and get it on. They want this to be the next OJ trial. They want all of that. You'd see the cameras go dark because there's going to be top secret, boop. Could the jurors see it? Would the jurors be allowed to see the top secret to prove that they could see it? This is an interesting conversation, isn't it? I suspect that they're blowing it out of proportion. I suspect that he didn't show it to them where they could see it. It's top secret. I shouldn't be showing this to you, so don't get close. Well, then let's get to cut to the chase. Did he show it to him? Well, the answer is no. We're going to find out, though. No one knows right now. And they shouldn't be leaking this stuff. It makes it hard to get a jury. It puts the people who, look, no one is going to be convinced that the 60, 70, 80 million people that back Trump are not, this does not affect them at all. All it's doing is making them dig their heels deeper in the ground. And all it's doing is destroying the Republican Party. And that's why the Democrats are doing it. But what's happening, folks, is that you just might see, because the president's not going to jail. The 45th president of the United States is not going to jail. And most likely, this prosecution, either it's not going to happen, or he's going to be found innocent, and he's going to run as a third party. If he does get found innocent, folks, I mean, then all bets are off for sure, right? I mean, look, this is going to be the greatest test for this country, the 2024 election. Donald Trump has put himself in a position that if the deep state gets their way and the Republicans that are in the deep state are with the Democrats who are the deep state and they believe that they got to destroy Trump, they're going to get Trump as a third-party candidate. And that's why they know he's got to go to jail. And he can still run. He can still run for office, folks. So this is the most interesting time. So when you look at all the things that are going on today, folks, the plenary power that we've been talking about on this show, which is an unheard of word until I think really we started talking about it. And that's what gives the president of the United States the ability to do executive orders and things like that, and to take these documents and make them declassified. Well, Donald Trump understands, from the warning of electric vehicles to the warning of the documents that people are being lied to. He's trying to, leak out there, because let's look at what's happened as he's leaking out, getting caught, supposedly showing documents to his top aide. What's he also saying? He's saying that the deep state is lying, and I have the proof. So where are? If I was a reporter there, I go, could you help us understand that a little bit more, Mr. President? Because we'd like to know more about that. But they're not, right? Well, we are, though, and you are. That's the pressure that you put on. That's when you push out to your legislators and to your local, call your local news and say, what are you doing? Are you asking any questions? What about the lies that are happening, the information we're getting from the government? They're telling us citizens lies that they're saying is the truth. They're deceiving us. That is not supposed to happen in a representative republic. It can definitely happen in a democracy, though. Oh, watch yesterday's show, please. Watch yesterday's show, because democracies love this kind of stuff. Banana Republic feel, right? We're going to go after we're going to prosecute our political adversaries. Look, you can't make this stuff up. It's really what's happening. Breaking news, though, right now. Wait a minute. Here we go, folks. What is it? Stop all the presses or run all the presses? Supreme Court rejects affirmative action at colleges, says schools can't consider race in admission. That's interesting, Eric, isn't it?
Democrats don't like this
the most. I think that the Asians love that the most. The Chinese love it,
right.
For sure.
Yeah, it was two lawsuits brought by Asian students that said that they were not allowed into Harvard and University of North Carolina because of their race.
Right.
And so they sued, and the Supreme Court said 6-3. You can't do that.
Overwhelming. We'll write down the line of conservative versus liberal.
They said, quote, it's their justification for the ruling, quote, it unavoidably employs race in a negative manner and involves racial stereotyping and it lacks meaningful endpoints. And Thomas and them said this is a violation of the 14th Amendment, what you're saying about the mob rule, the Democrats, this mob democracy push. They hate this ruling because they want to decide who should be given the special cookies and who shouldn't.
That's right. Separation of powers, folks. Once again, our founders were geniuses. Separation of powers. Supreme Court, 6-3. I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. I was telling my dad, I was driving down the road, and it was when the Trump administration was about to be able to, it looked like being able to get the third Supreme Court justice. And at the same time, there was a question of whether Trump is going to, be able to win the next election. And I told my father, I would rather have this third Supreme Court justice, if I had to make a trade, remember the scale, the blind ladies of justice, the weight on our side. If I had Trump, who couldn't or didn't get reelected for whatever reason, but I got the third Supreme Court justice, I'll take that. Because my gut was telling me that with all the things that were going on in the deep state, the odds of Donald Trump being reelected was going to be very, very tough. Because they're not going to allow it to happen. They're going to do whatever. And you saw all the things that they did. But it didn't mean that he can't run again. And he is. He's exposed this stuff, right? So here you are, 6-3. The Supreme Court said that affirmative action is unconstitutional. Well, we've known that. We've known it. You've known it. But it took a lawsuit. But here's an interesting thing. Please understand something. I want to know who these Chinese students are, because please understand that one of the weapons that the China is using against us, oh, look at the moving parts, folks. Yes, it is absolutely ridiculous that a person who has better grades and that should get the position doesn't get the position because they're a certain color, ethnicity, they need to get it for whatever reason. And that's not the way real life should be. So here's this other minority, if you will, the Chinese. By the way, they're only a minority in this country, just so you know. They're not a minority of the world. White people are a minority of the world. Do the math on that. Whole other conversation about truth. But the Chinese want to get into our education system because it's the best education system in the world, and then they weaponize it against us. So what we have to do, and I have no issues whatsoever with Chinese Americans, and I shouldn't even call them that, Americans who are also Chinese, they should go to school and they should be able to get their education as long as it's for the best interest of the United States of America and themselves. I'm fine with it. I think it's great. But I think part of this, Eric, is that we need to find out, as this is good news, who are these Chinese students and what are their background and where are they going?
And, of course, the three dissenting justices, the three radical leftists.
Let me guess. Are they Democrats?
Yeah, well, Justice Sonia Sotomayor, she said, believe it or not, here is that democratic relativism, collectivism you've been talking about the last couple of days. This is her justification for disagreeing with the majority on the court. Today, this court stands in the way and rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress. Blocking people from getting scholarships because of their ethnicity was progress that the left is furious about right now. They're going to be taken to the streets as we do the show.
Well, repeat what you just said, and I'm going to pause you. Repeat what you just said.
So it's her dissent. It says, this is from CNBC.
Yep.
Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in a sharp dissent to the opinion, the 6-3 opinion, quote, today, June 29th, 2023, this court stands in the way and rolls back decades of precedent and momentous progress.
Stop right there. Ladies and gentlemen, the only court in this land that has the ability to not use precedents, realizing that the lower courts can get corrupted and they can legislate from the bench and they can be affected by mob rule, that the Supreme Court is the only court that does not have to use precedents. Because the whole point of it is that as you move up through the court system, precedence is being set. And the whole point of the Supreme Court is to see, is that precedence constitutional? Is that precedent something that should be law? And in this case, it's no. So yes, that's correct, Sotomayor. All the years of oppression being put on the normal society who doesn't want to have these twisted, manipulated decisions and legislative things happening from courts. Yeah, that's right. It's a 6-3 that the constitutional loving justices, though not perfect, figured out pretty quick that, you know what, this is unconstitutional. And it does lead, the pressure is the mob rule, right? Look at all the precedents. Look at all the precedents. I can't, this is the worst thing to happen for democracy. Democracy, folks. This should not happen in a democracy, folks. And they're right. They're 100% correct. So when Nancy Pelosi gets up there and says the Supreme Court, what's happened is such an egregious effect on democracy. Absolutely right. It sure is. Yes. Whatever we can do to disrupt democracy, I'm in. Because what happened there was a representative republic pushed back on the democracy. Just that simple. That's big news, Eric.
It is. So this is dealing specifically with the college system.
Yeah.
So I'm sure down the road they're going to deal with affirmative action as a general principle and other
that's
industries.
Right. But now a true precedent has been set.
Yep.
The law of the land now is what the Supreme Court said. Now, of course, our founders gave the ability. Look, if the people don't like it, here's the good news: the House can get together, Congress can get together, and I believe it's with 2/3 of the House they could overturn it. So if the will of the people in this country is to overturn what the Supreme Court said, they have the ability to do it. There's always fail-safe.
Which is why the left...
That's not going to happen. What's that?
The left is aggressively trying to add more justices to the court.
Of course
to water down this majority.
They want to water it down in the same way if you go to Mexico, where democracy is very strong, folks. Lots of democracy in Mexico. How many parties do they have in Mexico? I don't even know anymore, but a whole bunch. And it waters down. You know, there's an argument. George Washington, I believe, said that we'd have to find a quote, but if my memory serves me correctly, that a two-party system could be the destruction of a free people, basically. And it is true if people don't heed the point of Benjamin Franklin and Adams and get engaged, stay engaged to keep the republic. And so we have an enemy right now within the Democrat Party that wants to water everything down so it marginalizes your vote. It's just like when more illegals come into this country, it waters down your citizenship. We have a few minutes left here, probably about 3 minutes left maybe. Think about this for a minute, folks. Every time an illegal alien walks across this border, it deletes a percentage of your sovereignty and the power of you being a citizen. We've covered the Uber driver in the past. Uber drivers driving in this country, American citizens who don't make near the money anymore because you have illegal aliens getting driver's licenses in California and then going all over the country and driving illegally and taking the jobs. They don't speak English. And that waters down the capability of you as an American citizen to make money. That's what all of this is about. It's about defunding you as a citizen of the United States as they push electric vehicles and they don't allow you to get the petroleum that you own to get gas at $1.83 a gallon, and you're going to have to pay double that, and your electricity bills are going to go higher and higher and higher because they want you to use wind and solar and geothermal, and they want you to use those, they want to use those unproven technologies under stress. They fail. It drives the cost of everything up. Well, why? Why do they want that to happen to you as a citizen? They take an oath. They take an oath to uphold the Constitution and the sovereignty of this country and defend you against foreign and domestic. And then they're the ones attacking you. It's because we've lost our way, folks. We've lost our way. And we have to understand that more and more states are going to climb aboard. More and more states, left-leaning states, dictatorship states like a Gavin Newsom. That guy is out of control. Gavin Newsom is he's psychotic. Okay, these guys, he is unbelievable. But don't we? Don't we have? How many states are now involved in this whole? We're going to illegal. Is it going to be illegal to sell a gas vehicle? What do we got going? Is there something on that?
Yeah,
you have it up right here.
From CNET. In the last 5 minutes, I thought we'd unpack this. So according to the rules, there's 17 states looking at it, and there's 6 more that are specifically going to outlaw cars that run on gasoline starting 2035. You will not be able to buy a gas-powered car in at least 7 states, with California leading the charge.
Right.
No gas-powered cars, even though it's the only one making money, and you've shown that the grid can't produce electricity, and Congress said the EPA said we don't know how we're going to do this. They're going to get rid of them anyway.
Right. So, what are the 7 states?
7 states down here were, let's see, New York, New Jersey, Washington. Where was the other one here? Down here. Okay, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, and Washington have announced they're also going to enforce the Advanced Clean Cars 2 rule and prohibit the sale of gas-powered vehicles. And Vermont is also working on it. So right now, by 2035 at least, California, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Oregon, Washington will no longer allow the sale of gas-powered cars, new cars on lots in their states. In only 12 years, it's all electric or nothing in those states.
Right, and it's not going to happen. Colorado, what are they saying? Because the governor of Colorado, what do we see there? This is interesting because Colorado used to be a conservative state, and they've kind of a wacko granola bar. But what does it say?
Well, they've adopted some of other California's zero emission policies, so they were looking into it. Colorado, Virginia is looking into it.
But they rejected it. It says here, hold on, go back up.
Yeah.
It says Governor Jared Polis has rejected the idea of a ban. Instead, his administration has said state agencies will focus on making EVs more affordable and practical. Announced in March, the Colorado Electric Vehicle Plan sets the goal of EVs accounting for at least 80% of new car sales by 2032, compared with slightly more than 10% in 2022. And please understand, when they say electric vehicles, by the way, folks, they're not talking about 100% electric vehicles. Understand how they package it. You have a BEV, a battery electric vehicle, which is 100% electric. You have a MHEV, or I should say a PHEV, a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. That means that it has a motor in it, or an engine in this case, and then it also has a battery system, and it's a hybrid, okay? And then you have an MHEV, a mild hybrid electric vehicle. You know, the one that really annoys you, that it starts and stops, like you're stopping at a light and it shuts itself off, and then it can turn itself back on, and a lot of people's like, how do I turn that off? How do I turn that off? That's annoying. Well, those are all technically hybrids. Mild hybrid, plug-in hybrid, and then I should say then the BEV is a complete electric. So you got to see how they're quantifying these numbers, quantifying the data, quantifying the miles per gallon. There's a lot of disinformation in this, folks. Fact. So that's great information. That's good to know because look, folks, they're going after all the states as much as they can. They're going to. We are under attack. Okay. The America that you know and love is under attack. And we are doing something about it. Again, before we go, what do we got left? About a minute, maybe?
About a minute, yeah.
American. Go to americaican.com. Read about it. Sign the oath. If you have a problem, let us know. Okay? And the way you let us know, I don't know if we have that email set up yet or not, but I'm getting it set up. Where you can just email us directly. I want you to have access to emails, questions, whatever. If that's not done yet, Eric, let's check into that today. I want to make sure that's done for the folks. And live chat as well is coming. You need to be able to speak. Okay, get a hold of us. So go to americaican.com, check it out, share it with your friends. Go to craigbouchonshow.com. You can watch the show. You can share the show. We're going to be breaking it up into small files so you can digest it more conveniently. And Eric, I thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow, and we're going to, once again, do what it takes to save the Republic, folks. We're in this together. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.